my book is called The History of History. This is the British paperback edition. It's about a young woman who wakes up in a forest outside Berlin, and she has no idea what she has been doing in the night in the forest, why she's found herself there. She's in a state of confusion. She rides the train back into the city and resumes her old life, but with a hole in that life of these past several months that have disappeared. And as she sort of explores the situation, trying to understand the mystery of her lost past, she finds that her life is sort of interwoven with the Nazi history. And the book really is very much about what it means to be alive today, knowing that in really the quite recent past, Western civilization has more or less collapsed in Europe. And to what degree are we, as inheritors of this history, still affected? To what degree does it change the narrative structures that we're faced with? But my approach is a bit strange, shall we say?
In a very nice way. I must say.
She says.
Yeah.
She woke up in the forest, she went back into the city, and she sort of resumed her normal life, thinking that she's just going to push it under the carpet, but in fact, it's not so easy. So the next morning, something occurred which might tax the reader's imagination to believe, but no more than Margaret's own faith and perception was stretched to the limit. But this thing that happened, it must be believed. Without belief, Margaret's story will quickly blanch for us, and the reality that the world morphed and contorted and slurred around still and unchanging Margaret as cataclysmically as the body grows and ages and dies around its antique polymer codes, this will be misunderstood as nothing more than a fable. That is also a kind of tragedy, crisis, fixed and framed too early. Specifically then, it was the city of Berlin. It rolled into a new phase all on its own. While everyone slept, except the taxi drivers on the sun-smeared boulevards, by 8 o'clock it was already done. The city transformed into flesh. When Margaret awoke, there was no stucco or timber any longer, only human flesh and bone. Pygmalion's Galatea as Berolina, though the name of the lover who craved the city and wished her living flesh, no one knew. Emerging from number 88, Margaret turned her head up to the sky, and there before her eyes were the city apartment houses, all of them made flesh. And how severely the sun cut through the windows. What an effect of blush and glow, the sun purpling through the skin webbing, as through diaphanous alabaster in late afternoon church windows. So, wonderful.